Very good morning to you all. Hope you're doing well. So I'll start with the risk calculation, just in case there's any queries about this metric. It's SSI, so Speculative Sentiment Index, and it tells us how the retail herd are positioned. So uh, for one person, one retail participant that are buying indices, there's five people trying to sell indices, and that would be normal because human participants are engineered to be fearful and to be wanting to sell the indices through fear. And obviously, if they're going to sell in a panic, there has to be some to buy off those guys. And so we can see why the news corporations are in hand with the banks. They love to produce the scary news events. Look at the COVID thing. Okay, admittedly we did fall, but then what a buying opportunity that was, and we have pumped so much since. So just so you know, we're quite risk on. It looks a little bit toppy on the indices, but we could probably do a little retracement maybe. And note that the VIX is being crushed steadily over time. Note where the Aussie bubble is. Note where the euro and pound are. So that sort of note. Pound is currently weakest if we look at the horizontal, and Aussie is the strongest. And they're quite long on yen, but they're giving us mixed signals in yen because they're long, but they're reducing their longs. If they're long and adding long, it comes over here. Right, so just bear in mind that we are fairly risk on our risk calc and VIX, but we could maybe be a little bit toppy on the indices. And I'll show you the signals. This last 3 days. So we'll be reporting the profit and loss every week on probably the Telegram. I think that's probably the best way to do it, and I'll put it on Twitter. And so this is how we are, how we're doing. Note that EG resulted in 2 losses back to back, and we are now using a new thing, which is really cool. And it's using the whenever a sell changes, we'll open a trade. Before we will open a trade at set time intervals, and now as soon as something becomes the weakest, it will open a trade. As soon as something becomes the strongest, it will open a trade. See where Aussie is, right? It's not a surprise. It's not a coincidence that's doing well. Look at the bubble on our dashboard. Okay, so that's fine, and then we'll come back to the signals again. It'll go to the current trades, and this is how we're positioned. We might get stopped out on NJ. We've got quite a lot of Euro Swiss trades, so I'd like those to go. We are in profit on the Euro Swiss, so if we were to go live, it might be an idea whether or not I can intervene and we just close them, because the Euro Swiss is an absolute pain and it's not looking like it's breaking down. So maybe it's something to think about when we go live. I'd be kind of tempted just to get out of this because I've got a feeling this is going to get us stopped out, because the Swiss really weakened yesterday. And we can see on the QDB ranking, Swiss, how are we doing? Okay, so it's strengthening against the pound, it's strengthening against the CAD, so maybe it might be okay. It's strengthening against the Kiwi, so maybe the Euro Swiss is going to be all right. Yesterday we had a very weak Swiss franc, so that didn't really help. And that's that. So let's talk about the indices. Let's grab the terminal. And just a quick one, I guess, today. So here's the Euro USD, and this is SSI snapshots. So they are long dollar Swiss. They're quite long at that. So let's come to the analysis. So maybe we are topping out a little bit. We are going to make a buy on the US 30. So this time tomorrow, depending on what happens here, we'll be making a box below. There'll be a support. Then we'll be sandwiched between that resistance and then that support that should be created if they sell it. If they don't, then that's going to be a resistance, and then we can probably fall a little bit. But we have to remember what I was saying about the SSI and the VIX. We're quite risk on. Yeah, we've got up, I guess, go to S&P. And we made a buy. So I guess we could probably map a zone, I suppose. It's been really thin. Very, very thin support. It's just before that line. So it's this one here. All right, so we should be above that. Click OK. Yeah, it's because they've sold it ever so slightly. So we should be above 4290. So you've got a double top here. So that might be eyed by the big fish. They're probably thinking that the retailers are going to think that's going to be a resistance, a double top. It's quite well known in the retail crowd, so they might be looking at that, and they might be thinking that's going to be a resistance. If we fall, they might sell it with a stop here, and of course then we'll come up to probe those stops, and then we can continue higher. All right, so that might be something that they're thinking about. The hive mind, the retail guys, might be checking that out, and they think that's going to be a good resistance. German 30. I think it should be German 40 by now, but we'll just keep it as it is. It's just DAX. So resistance zone, and then we've got a support zone. Okay, so we try and map that correctly. And yeah, this one, it's more or less, it's either this one or the next one, but we'll call it this one. And then so that's the support. So you're looking at 15946, 15970 area for support. Could come into it for a bounce, but we're going to be sandwiched. And likewise with gold, probably want to maybe avoid trading it until we've got a breakout. So we could be looking for buys with a stop here, and you could be looking for sells with a stop there. And I was saying Discord, it's quite a wide stop, so you'd want to be using like a tiny size. Quite wide, 1968 to 1980. Yeah, so you know, if we got up there, it could have been a good short with a stop there, and it might come down to here for a buy with a stop here. And currently we are just ranging. We're not breaking above or below these highs or lows, and that's that. So I guess we could probably say diagonal break, maybe. Maybe. So maybe technically fairly bearish, maybe. So this is probably, it might be an okay. We did make a buy here, so we probably shouldn't be falling, but maybe it's a technical fundamental thing. And don't forget we've got CPI next week as well. I'm going to delete that line. I'll do that after the video. And so that's it really. So just remember, we risk on at the big picture and at the 24-hour change. Gold could maybe be a sell here, but we have made a buy, and signals are going well, but we need the Euro Swiss to fall. I'm going to be sitting here monitoring the Euro Swiss, and we have to think about what we're going to do if we go live, because I'm thinking that the Euro Swiss might pump and they might get stopped out, although we kind of want it to be fully automatic and hands off, so perhaps no intervention is required. And if we get stopped out, we'll get stopped out. We'll still be in profit over the last 3 days, so perhaps that's what we can do, just have a hands-off approach. And that's it. So I wish you a good day, and let me know if you need any help, and I'll speak to you guys soon.